Russell Walker Meets, exclusively on the Glasgow Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel. My guest is someone whose career I've followed with huge interest and enthusiasm since the mid-1980s. He achieved critical acclaim for his first album, Suffocation Blues, and Mother Nature's Kitchen, the follow-up. He's one of Glasgow's best singer-songwriters. He is Kevin McDermott. Welcome, Kevin. How has the lockdown been for you?
Same about everybody. There's been no great drama, touch wood. So I'm very, very lucky and very, very grateful to be in the situation that I am, which could be, well, I have I've got a roof over my head, I have heat, I have my guitars, I have my imagination, which sometimes can play tricks on you. But as long as you kind of deal with all that's directly in front of you and nothing more than that, because that's all they can affect is what's directly in front of you. So I'm making the best of it, shall we say. My dad's along the road here. I can chap his window, I can shout and bawl, and he can be grumpy right back at me, and that's fine. But again, that's very small potatoes in terms of the larger picture that a lot of people are dealing with, and I'm very, very mindful of that. So I do count my blessings all the time. When I'm feeling a little bit down, which I do from time to time, you can get caught by your own, oh, poor me. We're entitled to a wee bit of that here and there, but then again, there's a bigger picture out there, and I'm a very small part of that and doing awfully well under the circumstances.
Who have you been keeping in touch with, and how have you been doing that?
Basically, chums. Just basically, I've made a little list of perhaps people I haven't been in touch with over the years, just to say hello, how are you? And hopefully it's not too much of an intrusion upon them. I haven't perceived that being the case so far, but just to kind of like a different voice on the phone. And people have been reciprocating, people I haven't heard from in a long while, just to say, nice to say hello, hope you're doing well. And I think that's wonderful. Just the milk of human kindness, the warmth of another individual phoning somebody to just say, how you doing? You all right? I just think that's great.
What have you been doing musically? What are you listening to just now?
Listening to, basically, I'm looking for just playlists that people send me, because I'm really, I go through, when I'm putting on music, I go through too much of a mental process as to why am I doing this. I prefer somebody else putting the records on. I love that, so playlists are great for me. My friend down in Weymouth, Marco, who's a guitar player with KMO, fantastically talented, wonderful. Just his playlists are just phenomenal. Anything from he could tell me the barcode in a single from 1967 that was a Pink Floyd B-side. So I enjoy hearing a lot of things that would not be within my natural spectrum to go and visit. But also I'm getting the hang of perhaps GarageBand. I'm terrible at technology. I'm absolutely murder. I used to record the same cassette recorder I bought in 1982, which I don't have to hand just now. I use the same cassette recorder, and technology. I avail myself of the technology that I can use as a tool for my creativity. I'm not very good at that because I tend to come at it at a different angle, which is a bit blowing my own trumpet a little bit. Sometimes certain technological aids are designed for folk who kind of building a track up, who perhaps don't write songs, but they like to make something pleasant to listen to and let their pals hear, which is a bit like knowing where the buttons go in a suit. It doesn't make you a tailor. You know, I kind of come at it from the other angle. I know what I want the lapels to look like, and I want a double breast or a single breast, or what is it, corduroy? What material is it? That's the way I come at things. So I need to be assisted to kind of to get the nuance and of what it is I'm trying to create, as opposed to where the buttons go on the suit, because I think I kind of got a grasp of that. It's not like a drop of that and a drop of that and a drop of that, a drop of that. I kind of have an idea of what I want the entire thing to sound like or look like. I'm not a manual cruncher. I hate it. It's just like I'm not very good at manuals. I'd rather sit about the meat and potatoes of it rather than grab this and then swipe this. It's like I don't grab or swipe anything. That's like that's 21st century kids speak. When people go grab a bargain, grab this, I hate that, because it suggests to me that get it before the next guy does. Be really selfish. I hate all of that. Grab this, swipe here. No, I don't grab anything and I don't swipe things. So there we are.
Well, I tell you, that's a really current attitude, isn't it? Because if there is to be a silver lining out of any of this, it's that we might be more patient of others, more tolerant, less judgmental. So that could be a silver lining out of all of this.
Well, it'd be nice to think it's a kind of utopian sort of frame of mind, but I would like to think there'd be something comes of that, because if you simplify everything, really, it's like, is this a good idea or is it a bad idea? Basic human instincts, we seem to get lost someplace down the line, and because we're only flesh and blood, we get it wrong quite a lot. And the way to get that back on the rails is to say, I'm sorry, or that was a bit shite, and I'm sorry.
I hear a lot of people on TV and on webinars and stuff like we're doing today talking about how they're filling their day, and music is a big part of that. Is that something that you recognise? I mean, are you listening to more? Are you creating more just now than you would normally because you've got more time, perhaps?
Oddly, it's a bit of a conundrum. The opposite has actually happened in terms of apportioning time directly to the creative process. And I used to think I would have a night owl and I'd work through the night, perhaps with other things to do the following day. But when there's no structure at all, I'm finding an odd headspace in that I'm looking for a bit of structure where there is none, which is it really kind of turned the whole thing in its head for me, which is the lack of focus is a bit concerning from at this moment in time. So to try and, you know, really knuckle down and get focused on creating. And it's an odd one. Very, very new in the day, born out of this current circumstance, is to try and get focused on stuff. It's just like, it's an odd thing, but there we are. Spirits are being kept afloat right now by TV, movies, music. Most of these people who create these things have at some point come up against, like, get a proper job. Get a proper job. Oh, you're an actor. What do you really do? What do you contribute? Well, I'll tell you what, that Breaking Bad series that you've spent 3 days watching, all of them at some point dropped out of a job or school or college to go and be an actor. There's a musician someplace that has been knocking his pan in, getting nowhere for years, and suddenly finds himself creating something really brilliant that you're now listening to. A book that you're reading, some poetry. There may have been scorn poured on someone for perhaps bucking the trend and doing something a wee bit kind of off kilter. The other people right now that are keeping your spirits up, the TV, the music, and just bear that in mind. Bear that in mind right now.
It's interesting to think about Mother Nature's Kitchen, an album that came out more than 30 years ago. There are some tracks on that album which are really relevant sounding to what's going on now. I'm thinking about tracks like What Comes to Pass, Healing at the Harbour, Slow Boat to Something Better. They all are very relevant to what's happening now.
I've only incorporated genuine human instincts and emotions into what it is that I do, because that's who I am. Again, other folk write differently. Springsteen, for one, huge, massive. But when Springsteen sings about driving his caddy down the freeway and whatever else, maybe he didn't do that. Or maybe he was working on the Jersey Shore as a longshoreman, as watching the cargo coming off, and he was a crane driver. Maybe he didn't do that. You know, like, I can't write like that. I can adopt a persona, as I'm doing just now, even my own name. I'm adopting for something. Milo Castaneda is the persona I'm adopting just now, because comparison is the thief of joy. I want to turn a different page and not be compared to anything I've done previously. I just want to make music and be judged on that. Is it good or is it bad? It's dead simple. Do you like it or do you not? Again, but back to Mother Nature's Kitchen. And I could only write with regards to the spectrum that I had at that point in time. Surely, yeah, I did work in a shipyard. I didn't write about working in a shipyard other than refer to the ocean and the sea, because to me that was a huge touchstone. It's like Healing at the Harbour, because I did work in Yarrows. I was working in a shipyard.
Is that a Bob Dylan album behind you on the shelf, or a book, Bob Dylan book?
Which one? Oh, this is again, I know there's people getting flack for sitting in front of bookshelves, but it's the most interesting. Well, I could... yeah. What have we got? Because I generally don't tend to keep novels and whatnot. I read quite a lot, but once I'm done, I put it into the Oxfam shop pretty much. So these are all reference books from Carmela's cookbook from The Sopranos, Ziti. to this guy here. Oh, oh, that. I don't know if you can get that. That's an amplifier. In 1986, I bought this somewhere in Florida to go busking with some chums, and that saved my bacon majorly. I hadn't actually seen a little busking amp before, or there was one called a pig nose or something. But I saw this thing and I thought, you know what, that's just the guy for me, and it's just amazing. I could plug it in at some point. And it just sounds brilliant. In fact, yeah, I'll plug it in before we're done here. We can see what this sounds like. It's great, but yeah, my little, someone wanted to describe this as clutter. Cheeky clutter. This is my life. Clutter. Clutter. Thank you very much, and cheerio. Oh boy, sorry, that was a bit matters domestic there, but there we are. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to doing first when we come out of this lockdown? What's the first thing you're going to do?
Probably go to Sheesh Mahal.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, in Park Road for Indian food. Yeah, I love Indian food, and it's like alchemy. I can't do it, so that's the first thing that I'll do. Peace, love, and understanding, and a curry from the Sheesh Mahal.
You said you were going to plug in that wee amp. Are you going to do something for us?
I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. No. Yeah. Does the trick, and it's that's amazing. It is amazing. Yeah. Milo Castaneda has a song called Manos Arriba, and it goes like. Double 6, 7 times. Love be a lady, she took all of mine. Everything on blue, I got the drop on you. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Manos arriba, manos arriba, manos arriba. Surrender to me, surrender to me. There you go.
Kevin, just before we go, can I prize a quick few bars from one of Mother Nature's Kitchen's tracks out of you?
Oh, let's see. I'm trying to think of something pertinent that's not something a bit more uplifting. What's on the album now? Okay. I'm down at the river where I practice my song. It's as cold as December, but the music keeps me warm, and I'm laughing out loud at the wonder of your deeds. You let me live rent free while you're burning down my street. But that's alright, that's alright, 'cause there's healing at the harbor. Now it seems it's the season to be knocking on my door. Everyone with a reason and a price that I can't afford. Well, I can use for you. You're so smart that you can't see. And what you're trying to steal, you could have had for free. Well, that's alright, 'cause there's healing at the harbor. And I think there's plenty of that.
Kevin McDermott, thank you so much for joining us here today. I really appreciate your time and, frankly, your rather unique take on things.
Yeah, and also, just last word on that, everybody, keep the heat. Keep the heat. A Glaswegian phrase for these times. Keep the heat, all right? Okay, see you soon.